welcome to another World of Tanks subscriber replay. My name is Maxwell and today's first video is from the user Resolution X. That's Resolution X and he's driving the KV-1S on a standard battle on the mines. So this is the first of our subscriber replays with the new video format where we'll be showing multiple replays within the same video, and you may have noticed by the title of this video that we are going to be featuring Russian tanks today. That's not always going to be the case. I'm not always just going to be showcasing one nation, so it's not always going to be just Germans or just Russians or whatnot. And again, it won't always just be either heavy tanks or medium tanks, but sometimes there may be a theme running through the different replays. So man Resolution just trying to get onto the hill early, trying to pick off somebody, but nobody quite presenting themselves as a good enough target. Misses that Matilda, unfortunately. Takes a couple of shots in the face, and in fact takes a big hit from that Wisp there, which damaged his tracks and his viewfinder. Manages to get behind the rocks here and hides himself. Not sure what this Panzer IV's thinking he's going to achieve here, but perhaps thought he was safe. But the KV-1S of Resolution just proving that he definitely was not safe. The little tank destroyer just about getting into cover in time before getting himself blown to pieces. Unfortunately, I don't think this Matilda's going to get into cover, and indeed he doesn't, and he gets himself taken out. This Herzer probably should have started running a long time ago, but again, probably thought he had. Thinks he has plenty of time, and in fact he's faded back into the fog of war, so he probably has fallen back behind that rock. Well, it would appear that he didn't fall back behind the rock and paid the price for it. Paid the price with his life and gone back to the garage early there. So just going to be heading back up the hill. Going to see if he can get a shot on the top of this M7's turret. It's a very small target, a bit of an ambitious shot. So unfortunately just about missing that one. Going to see if he can line it up. Maybe land the second one, depending on how skilled his crew is and how lucky he's feeling. Unfortunately, that M7 has just faded back into the fog of war, but looks like he's still lining up to try and get that shot. Anyway, it looked like it went in the right sort of area, but obviously not picking up a kill for that one. A little bit. Oh no, it looks like he took him down to 27 hit points. So that one definitely connected, but not quite enough damage to be able to finish him off. So he's just going to stay perched on this hill now. You can see that the enemy is moving in on their own base, but it looks like they have plenty of defenders there. There's plenty of people held back, so they should be able to repel this push. And seeing that there are so many of the enemy tanks on that right-hand and northern flank, the Resolution feels more than confident in his ability to just push out here and push on towards the enemy's base. So he's going to be directly up against this T-34. The T-34 takes out his track, but he uses his repair kit just to close the distance. That T-34 missing the next shot, unfortunately. KV-1S not quite got enough damage to be able to take this T-34 out in one hit, so just going to have to let this one... Ooh, just about missing there. A little bit unfortunate there. But it looks like that T-34 just doesn't have the penetration power to be able to get through the front armor here. Good bit of damage there from the ram and almost got him. Just got to get a couple more hits. Managed to take his track off, so this should finish him off on only 2 damage. So this one here should be a big enough wind up, and there we go. Takes the last 3 of his hit points off there. So now time to close in on the enemy's base. Spots out the Elector here. Should be a case of just finishing him off as he is AFK. Not sure what's going... Ah, sorry, I was looking at the wrong part of the mini-map there. I thought he had a light tank behind him, but I was just being foolish and looking at the wrong part of the mini-map, so... Going to be looking for their artillery now. That is a Wisp, the one that hit him full in the face earlier. Looks like he's ready and waiting, but not quite able to get the damage down, and Resolution X able to finish him off with a single shot. Wisp looks like he's raging a little bit in chat there. Luckily, he's not speaking English, so we have no idea what he's saying. So started off the base capture now, which is probably the smart thing, as the enemy appears to be moving in on their base. Looks like they weren't able to get the base defense going there, but the SU-100 came back to try and sort out the KV-1S unfortunately paid for that with his life. So he's got the cap up almost to 30% now, and he needs a couple more people to get in this cap zone. As you can see, the enemy's got 3 heavy tanks closing in fairly quickly on their cap zone. So that Valentine, well, I saw that it was a light tank and thought, well, he should be able to get over there in time. But being a Valentine, it's not the fastest light tank in the world, so this is going to prove to be a little bit close. In fact, judging by that, there's probably no way that Valentine can make it over here in time. Even though it's a light tank, it doesn't have the speed, maneuverability, or agility to make it here in time. And as you can see, the enemy cap going up very, very quickly there. They've obviously got multiple tanks. Well, you notice that they had 3 heavy tanks and the medium tank up there. In fact, all 4 of them look like they are in this cap zone. So this is an absolute shame here. It looks like this one is probably going to be chalked up to a draw in the end. So absolutely brilliant replay there from Resolution X, picking himself up 7 kills. There's nothing anybody can do about this because the Valentine is way out of position, so he can't stop the base capture, and there's no way he's going to make it here in time. And there we go, both of them reaching 100%, and that one is a draw. So absolutely brilliant replay from Resolution X. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Stick around, guys, because the next replay is coming up momentarily.
Time to roll out.
And our next replay is from the user Absty123. That's Absty123. He's driving the T62A on a standard battle on the airfield. So before we get into this battle, I do just want to say, don't be disheartened if you don't see your replay fairly soon, because with this new format that we are using with the multiple replays per video, I'll be able to show off a lot more of your guys' replays, and we'll be able to get to a lot more varied content. So please keep sending those replays into replay@screenreality.com. That's replay@screenreality.com, and I'll do my best to show as many of those as possible. So back to this battle at hand. Absty's going to be heading straight up the centre flank, absolutely balls out, no regard for his own life, going to go straight up this central area and try and get some eyes on the enemy's base. Unfortunately, it looks like nobody is coming down this direction, so effort's going to be slightly wasted there, which is a little bit unfortunate. So going to wait till he gets the support of this Caernarvon. But again, still nobody really in this central area, so just going to hang around here, wait till they push on the northern flank there. As you can see, the IS-3 there, going to be dueling with somebody in front of him. So going to wait until those guys push there, and then probably going to try and flank around to the sides and the rear of them. Gets himself spotted out, and you've got to be careful on these higher tiered battles, because when you're the only tier 10 in a battle, then the artillery will focus on you quite a bit, especially if you're a medium tank and don't have the armor to be able to withstand it. So deciding to make his move now. As you can see, the enemy is kind of split here into 2 separate groups. You've got one group hanging back on that northern flank there, and another group pushing up a little bit too far. He's been spotted out, but luckily that fantastic sloped armor, more than enough to be able to protect him from that Lorraine 40-ton. And the IS-3 again, still not focusing on him, which he probably should. That IS-3 should have dropped back as that Lorraine did, but he's too focused on trying to take out that IS-8 and gets himself set on fire. Luckily, he bought himself a fire extinguisher, but the rate of fire of the T62A more than enough to be able to take him out, picking up his first kill so far of this match. The Lorraine having a good go at trying to get some damage on him here, but it looks like he's not able to do much at all, and he's probably reloading his cannon now as he's dropped back and just taken himself out of the battle slightly. So it looks like they've got a couple of heavy tanks split up from the enemy forces now.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Absty able to finally finish off that Lorraine, punish him for getting himself out in the open for too long. Looks like they've got a few heavy tanks caught out in the open, but the problem is, just about missing there, but it probably would have hit the gun and not went through anyway. They can't really get any flanking action on the go, because if they flank around, nice kill. If they flank around behind these guys, then those guys over there are going to be able to get shots on their rear armour. Terrain just not quite allowing him to get a hit on this Tiger 2. But again, the fantastic slopes on this front armour being able to protect him. That T-34 wise to the game and deciding not to shoot at the T-62, shooting instead at the Carnarvon and picking himself up that kill. Although the T-62 is able to get a good bit of damage through his turret there. And just going to sit here and pound his side armour. In fact, if his gun reloads in time, should be able to pick him up. Picks up his 5th kill so far of this match. So his ally's just going to push through on that right hand side, and himself he's going to push through on this left. Going to try and get around behind these guys. As you can see, the enemies, gets nicely behind the 110 here. 110 able to get a little bit of damage, probably along with the artillery there. Oh, and that FVB, is it the FVB? Just about gets taken out, as he didn't want to crest over the hill while that guy was still alive, as he would have spelled disaster. Taking a hit in the rear from somebody, probably from that IS-8 to be honest, so a bit of friendly fire there, but he's able to track this low, which means the low isn't able to present front armour, and his fantastic reload of that cannon is able to get another hit on him and take him out for his 7th kill of this match. Gets a good hit on that IS-3 there, decides the discretion is the better part of valor, and gets himself behind those rocks in order to hide. But the T-62 isn't looking for more kills, although more kills would be nice, as he's decided to present his side and rear armor now, which is a little bit of a mistake. He should have been aware that that T-62 wasn't going to just go away. So T-62 deciding to head up there and punish him. IS-3 deciding to fall off the edge of the cliff and make a run for it down this flank. Going to try and take the Tiger 2 head on and support his ally there in the VK45-02A. But doesn't have the turret traverse, unfortunately, to be able to get around. Absley doesn't want to get a hit on that front armour of that IS-3 just yet, so decided to shoot at the VK instead, and just relying on the slope of his armour to be able to bounce the shot. Absolutely awesome piece of dueling there. Knows that he's going to have the better of this situation and decides now to use his speed and agility to just run circles around this VK and then keep his front armour presented. And is able to take out the VK. Not really sure what the artillery was trying to achieve there. Probably thought he could ram him, as he did weigh a decent amount, but not quite able to get the kill on the T-62 of Absley there. So absolutely brilliant way to end that game there, getting rammed by the artillery and then picking up the last kill for a whopping 10 kills in that match. So absolutely brilliant replay from Absley123. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Stick around, guys, for the next replay.
Move out.
And our next replay is from the user AppGibbo. That's AppGibbo, and he's driving the IS-3 on an assault battle on Corellia. And he's platooned up with a couple of his clanmates here representing the NOFR clan. So first things first, he's going to be heading on this far left-hand flank and going to be trying to pick off the enemy. As you see, they've got 3 separate spawn zones there. So with the proximity that they've spawned to the hill, they should be able to get up there first. But luckily, they've got an ELC AMX, which is going to be able to spot out anybody who crests that hill before the allies do. And hopefully, he may even be able to dissuade some of them from taking an advanced position, which will allow these guys to get in position and punish anybody for trying to take some ground. So you can see he's spotted out a Leopard up there. It's a good hit on him. Unfortunately, it looks like he may be taken out of this battle early. So he's just going to make a slow way up this hill. In fact, we're just going to speed this one up until he gets to the top of the hill, because let's face it, nothing interesting is going to happen until he gets there. And that Leopard spotted him out. Unfortunately, doesn't quite, the angle of the terrain didn't quite let him get a shot on. But a slight reposition, and he's able to take out the Leopard for his first kill so far of this match. So he's a KV-1S lurking at the top of the hill there, even though it's only tier 6 and he's in an IS-3, which is tier 8. You've still got to be wary of that KV-1S's cannon, which is going to be capable of doing some serious damage to pretty much any tank in this battle. So really, Gibbo's job here is just to sit at the crest of this hill here, keep poking your head over, getting some hits on the tanks coming over and dissuading them from moving any further. This IS getting a little bit bold and deciding to move in, but then realises better of it and then decides to fall back. Going to see if he can get a shot on this. Oh, nope, T-34-85 has snuck around behind. Luckily one of his allies is able to take out his tracks, and the IS-3 is able to finish him off. In fact, to be honest, he's got his ally in the Ferdinand back there, but apart from that, he's pretty much holding this hill solo against everybody else. Although, with the positioning of that Ferdinand, it does mean that anybody who pushes too far and tries to flank around the rear of the IS is going to take a shot in the face from that Ferdinand. So, fantastic positional play on their part. Going to have a good shot through the very top of the turret there, able to get a little bit of damage through there. The armor not particularly strong at the top of that turret. So knows exactly where that tank destroyer is. The Su-100Y knows that he isn't going to run away and knows that he can get through the front armor, so finishes him off. The KV-1S is just parking behind the pillbox over there. But to be honest, there's not really much he's going to be able to achieve. They really need to start pushing on the base. Oh, not quite able to take out the IS there, leaving him with just 27 hit points. And a bit of a shame there. Really should have been able to finish him off, but that's just the way it happens sometimes. Not rushing his shot or making any hasty moves there, just taking his time to aim and making sure that his last shot finishes him off. The KV-1S is looking in the wrong direction to have a shot at somebody else. Unfortunately, the IS-3 shot bounces on his front armor. The armor of the IS-3 still particularly difficult to penetrate. He should have the reload to be able to take him out. Oh no, his second shot was a 0 damage critical, so absolute shame there about that one, but KV-1S has such a long reload time, and then he bounces his shot as well. And his third shot, just making sure that it goes through that weak point in the turret there to be able to pick him up and get his 5th kill so far of this match. So although this is an assault battle and the enemy's supposed to be pushing on their base, the Allies just deciding that they've got the upper hand and is now pushing on the enemy spawn zone. Spots out the artillery but goes a little bit too far, so just going to have to reverse, see if he can get a shot on this Hummel, and indeed he can. Picks up the Hummel for his 6th kill so far. There's a Comet parks behind a corpse there, but oh, not quite going to have the reload to be able to pick him off before he gets behind the mountain there and slightly up the hill. But Gibbo just going to decide to go head-to-head with his T-44 and this Comet as his ally, the 5916, is taken out. But that Comet is making tracks, but gets a big hit in the side there, doing over 400 points of damage and getting his track eliminated. So fingers crossed the IS-3 here can reload in time before he repairs his tracks and makes a run for it. He does indeed be able to get a shot before his tracks repaired, but his next shot doesn't do any damage whatsoever. So just going to sit here perched on the hill and rely on his sloped armor to do all of the work of bouncing these shots. And the T-44 going to try and probably sneak around the side and then try and run rings around this IS-3 and get on the rear armor. Gibbo knows exactly what he's going to try and do, so just runs into the side of him and says, no, you're not getting around the sides or the rear of me. In fact, I'm going to ram you in the face. And my last shot here, oh, not quite. And a little bit overconfident here, presenting his side armor to this T-44, which he didn't need to do, but nevertheless he had the hit points and the reload speed to be able to pick up that T-44 for his last kill of the match, picking up 8 in total. So absolutely amazing replay from Gibbo there, showing the IS-3's strength and its ability to bounce shots and eliminate tanks quickly. So absolutely brilliant replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in.
on the road.
And our next replay is from the user Evil Gopher. That's Evil Gopher. And he's driving the T-44 on a standard battle on the mountain pass. And he's platooned up with a couple of his fellow DGA members. So just a quick shout out to John Nethervoid over on the Dunge Guru Net YouTube channel. Go check him out. I'll put a link in the description. So the DGA representing here on Mountain Pass. So first things first, he's going to head down this left-hand flank with the other medium tanks, as he has the speed and manoeuvrability to be able to get into a good advanced position before the enemy is able to do the same. So we're going to see if we can pick anybody off as they move into position, because the T-44 has a good amount of speed and agility, and is definitely able to do that. So the M4 just stopping short there and camping behind a bush, but Evil Gopher, knowing that the T-44 has the speed to be able to get further than that, spots out an enemy T-69, and if the T-69 decides to poke his head around the corner, he's probably going to get it blown right off. Just going to have a little manoeuvre around, see if he can take this hill safely. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get on top of the hill without taking too much damage. And there was his platoon mate in the Pershing coming up to support. Takes a hit there from the Panzer 5S by the looks of it, but is able to return more damage back to him, so a good fair trade there. So going to try and see if he can pick off this T-69. Going to wait for the T-69 to concentrate his fire somewhere else, and then is going to have a shot on his underbelly there and able to get a good bit of damage through. Pershing just throwing himself off the cliff there to park in front of the T-69 just to make sure that nobody else takes any damage. Terrain irregularities there, making it impossible for him to get a shot on target. And the Pershing takes a couple more hits as he falls back there. So doing a good job of saving his teammate in his Pershing there, knowing that he had the hit points and the armor to be able to soak up a good portion of that damage. And that's a good thing when you are platooned up with clanmates and you are communicating, then you can pull off maneuvers like that. You're going to try and take out the SU there, but he just gets behind the rocks before he's able to get a shot on target. So it looks like they've definitely taken this rocky area and the little hills here from the enemy and managed to push them back towards their own base. Spots out an enemy Chaffee just over the hill there. Shows his side armor too much and gets hit for his troubles. He hasn't really got anywhere to go because he can't really make it down that mountain without probably slipping and dying, so he's pretty much hemmed in there. He's going to have to try and rely on his allies to push forward, and then that would give him an escape route. Unfortunately, it looks like they are getting flanked at the moment. Finds that the Panzer 4S, I probably called it a Panzer 5S earlier, a Panzer 4S is also hiding there. Going to see if he can get the last bit of damage to take him out, although the Chaffee is making a move for somewhere. Not sure where he's going, so just going to stay nice and secure behind this terrain here because there's nobody able to get a shot on him from here. I'm going to see if he can spot out. Oh, T-34 snuck around the corner there. It's probably lucky that he didn't make a run for it earlier. Oh, nice, able to get a good bit of damage to the weak point of that KV-5 there. It's probably good he didn't make a total push around those rocks earlier, as he probably would have ran headlong into that T-34, and the cannon on that T-34 is able to dish out a horrendous amount of damage.
Penetration.
So T-34 just been tracked there, and going to try and get some free damage on him as he's concentrating his fire on someone else, although it looks like the KV-5 is able now to get a bit of damage on the side of the T-44. But the AT-15 is now taking him out, leaving him a clear run on this T-29. T-29 not really doing any damage there to the T-44, but the T-44 not really returning any damage either. Should just be a case of, oh, that shot really should have taken him out. That was on the low end of the scale in my opinion. And there, that T-29 now taking out the Pershing, but just one more shot will be enough to finish him off. So just had the call from his clanmate there, obviously, that the enemy has pushed through in the northern area of the map and through that central bridge. His clanmate Aldeus in the Indian Panzer there. Just going to try and hold them off, but they are definitely pushing through on the base in that northern area. So he's going to have to drop back and try his best to defend the base while his allies push on this area. As you can see, his allies making a good inroad there. They've got a tank destroyer and a couple of medium tanks against that KV-5, and once he's mopped up, it'll be a clear run onto the base. So the Indian Panzer should make it back well in time to at least be able to spot who is in that base. Unfortunately, takes a big hit from the I was going to say the KV-1S, and then gets taken out by the 3601. So base capture up to 75% now, and climbing quite rapidly, so he's really going to have to get round the corner and just fire off a shot as quickly as possible, because if he takes his time to stop and aim properly, then he's not... Oh, that was a good shot. The 3601 already calling GG in the chat there, and I think he's about to have his day ruined. Our man Evil Gopher comes straight round the corner, fires off a snapshot because he didn't have time to stop and aim. But he's going to have to be careful with this 1S now, because a good hit from that 1S will be enough to pretty much ruin his game. But he's had one shot on each of them, which means he's reset the cap all the way to 0, and then he would just take out the KV-1S at his leisure, and now he's going to have to duel with this 3601. 3601 clearly has a much faster reload time than the T-44, but the 3601 also has better front armor than the T-44, it would appear. So, well, not good enough by all accounts. But all the T-44 has to do, as you can see, they've got a medium tank moving in on the enemy base now, so really it's all on this 3601. The T-44 of Evil Gopher can pretty much just sit here, and as long as he keeps him from going into the cap zone, that should be enough. All he has to do is just hold him there, because it's really on the 3601 now, because they've got that medium tank moving in on the base. Takes out the artillery, and he's probably going to start the base capture any second now. And there we go. So this 3601 is going to have to move into the cap zone and give up his entrenched position. And once he does that, T-44 should, fingers crossed, be able to take him out. Ooh, just spots out that tank destroyer who has a shot behind him. The 3601's shot just manages to bounce on the front armor, so this should be a case of just able to take him out. And then he's going to have to move quickly though, because that tank destroyer will be moving in on the cap zone and on himself now. So he's just going to head smart. He's going to head up the hill and try and flank around behind this tank destroyer. It looks like a T-28. It is indeed a T-28. So he's going to try and spot him out, but it looks like he's moving into the cap zone. Probably not going for a base capture, as he knows that there's no chance he can get that off. Although that is indeed what he's doing, because also there's no chance that he's going to be able to get up this hill in time, because the T-28 is notoriously slow. So Evil Gopher just going to head down. Yep, yes, just going to head down the mountain. It's going to speed this up ever so slightly. I'm going to come round and see if we can get some free damage on this T-28. Hopefully he's looking in the wrong direction. And he isn't. So he's going to have to just hide around this corpse, try and get one last shot on him, and no, not quite able to get his last shot off on the T-28 there. But absolutely brilliant replay from Evil Gopher there, picking himself up 4 kills and doing a ton of damage to the enemy, and also putting up a sterling defense there, taking out the KV-1S and the VK-3601. Even when they were calling GG in chat, Evil Gopher was saying to himself, I'm having none of that, and I'm going to go and do something about this. So absolutely brilliant replay from him. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Stick around, because there's another replay coming right up. And our next replay is from the user. Bear with me because I've butchered the pronunciation of his name once before, so we're just going to call it Kampf, as it looks like Kampfzestora. But for ease we'll just call him Kampf, and he's driving the KV-1 on a standard battle on the fjords. So I was going to be heading up this northern flank area, but decides against it, decides to turn around and head back to the centre. Probably something to do with the fact that the other heavy tanks seem to be heading in this direction, so they're going to need a heavy tank in the centre there just to hold off the enemy. Not 100% sure where that T1 heavy is going, probably just going to camp it out there in the bushes, thinking that it can get some base defence points. Unfortunately, that is a horrible place to camp. And if you do that in a battle, you're really not helping your team out. So please, yeah, so please in future don't ever camp in those bushes over there. Just going to speed this one up a little bit because the KV-1 is notoriously slow, and just going to speed it up until he gets into the centre of the map and gets himself into some action. As you can see, the enemy's pushed round on this southern flank fairly quickly, but he spotted out a T1 heavy in the centre. Gets a good hit on right in the centre of his armour, but not quite being able to penetrate. Going to try and get a shot on the turret ring, but again not quite able to penetrate. This T1 heavy, very difficult to damage when it is the top tier tank in the battle. 2 shots in a row straight through the armour, though. It looks like that central point is the place that you want to try and shoot at, although possibly that may have just been luck. Going to try and aim. Nope, not able to get his next shot through, but this one aimed at the driver's hatch. Nope, still not able to get through. So a little bit unlucky, not able to penetrate this T1 heavy in the same place twice. Gets his track taken out, has a quick look on his right hand side, but that's just an A20, and there's no way an A20 is going to be able to take out 2 KV-1s. So now that that T20 has been dealt with, it's time to switch his attention over to this right hand flank. As you can see, there's a Stug 3 pushing through there, but his, well, I was going to say his ally there, the M7 should be able to deal with him, but apparently not. But that KV-1's now moving in with the Stug 3 in support. Sees a tree fall up next to the building there, so somebody's trying to manoeuvre and get into position. There he is there, the Su-85. Just about to see the top of his armour, but the armour on the Su-85 isn't particularly great, so should be able to just sail that one straight through. Fingers crossed, if he gets a good roll of the dice, he should be able to take him out. Nope, not quite. Actually, I don't think this gun does have 200 damage at maximum. Ooh, nice shot being able to put that one under the house there. The house being on stilts. Unfortunately, that one was soaked up by the tracks of the Su-85 and not doing any damage. So it looks like his allies have won out in the south there, being able to take out the Stug 3. Not sure if they got the A20, but I'm sure we'll find out later on. And that looks like it was the Su-85 that he was dueling with earlier. Someone else just coming in and picking up that kill. But he finds an M2 medium. Oh no, there's the Su-85. That was a different Su-85B that somebody else has killed earlier. But able to finish off the Su-85 from earlier. And now going to turn his attention to this M2 medium tank, which won't be able to duel at all with this KV-1. In fact, as soon as he saw the KV-1 crest over the hill and start fighting that Su-85, he should have turned and ran the hell away. So fixes his track and is going to be heading towards the enemy's base now. In fact, decides to change his mind because the enemy has absolutely overrun them in the northern flank. Spots out a second M2 medium tank. Seems quite popular today. M2 medium tank probably not going to be able to do any damage to this KV-1. In fact, just gets himself taken out. So that is Kampf's 3rd kill so far of this match. Although his team is losing pretty significantly at the moment. Although he has spotted out the artillery, the Bison. Unfortunately, took a shot a little bit too early then, just about missing, but going to keep moving so the Bison doesn't get a shot at him. In fact, I'm not even sure if he was aware that he had been spotted. So losing this one still quite significantly at 8-11. was going to try and head up this central area to try and head off the enemy. Unfortunately, he knows that his KV-1 is too slow and probably would not be able to make it up those hills and intercept the enemy. He would end up just coming in behind them and being pretty ineffectual. So just going to head back down the road and back towards the Allied base here, because he knows, there we go, I was going to say, he knows that the base capture is going to be started off. And as I was about to say that, the base capture was started off. So we're going to be dropping back to the enemy, to the Allied base here. He should have the speed to be able to get back there in time, even though this cap is going up fairly quickly. It looks like the other KV-1, the tank destroyer and the medium tank, are pressing on to the enemy base to start a base capture of their own. Kampf can't stop to pick off a shot here. He's got to keep moving and try and get in on the base and take out whoever he can. Going to take his time, aim his shot properly. Oh, and is able to damage the T-28 there, but it looks like the T-28 doesn't actually have any capture points of his own. Ooh, able to reset the cap down to 55% once it got to 99% there, knowing that he had the time to finish off that Covenanter before he moves on to a different target. Switches his attention now to this T1 heavy, and rather than just landing one shot on everybody, which is sometimes the correct tactic to use, he's deciding to try and take people completely out of the fight just to remove another gun from the battle, knowing that he had enough time to do that, meaning that there's less incoming fire from the enemy here. Switches his attention to this B1 and is amazingly able to set him on fire and take him out of the battle. And then another shot is able to take out the T1 heavy, picking up his 8th kill of this match. So he's pretty much saved this game from the brink of disaster there, killing everybody in that cap zone. I think that was 4 tanks in a row he was able to pick up there. Looks like his ally, the Stug 3, is still doing a base capture there, but the enemy T-34 has moved in and landed a shot on him, so he's been able to reset that one. Oh no, he's been taken out. So absolutely amazingly there, the T-34 was able to take out the Stug 3. So it's now going to be T-34 versus KV-1. The KV-1 of Kampf on 8 kills and the T-34 on 7 kills. So an honourable mention to him. So going to be driving through the centre of this village here. Nobody telling him how many hit points he's got left, so he's not sure whether he's got just 1 hit left or more than 1. It looks like he's got just 1 hit left. Kampf spots him out first, but doesn't quite have the turret traverse. Oh! But the T-34 decided to be very well, not slightly, but very aggressive there and push down that hill to try and get behind the KV-1 on that rear armour, as the T-34 probably had 2 shots to be able to take him out. But Kampf just faster on the reflexes and able to take him out before he's able to get into range. So absolutely amazing replay there from you, picking up 9 kills and pretty much winning that one on your own, resetting the cap against 4 enemy tanks and then taking out the last T-34. So absolutely amazing replay. Thank you very much for sending that one in.